Okay, so here it is, the Behringer Spring Reverberation 636. Let's take a look inside and see what it looks like. I've been curious to see what kind of spring tank is inside of the unit. You know, how big is it? How many springs does it have? I don't have any experience with the original spring reverb that this unit is based on. I know it's considered a classic piece of hardware. I have the Arturia plug-in version of it, which sounds nice. I also own some other hardware spring reverbs. I have a Fender 63, a Doepfer A199 Eurorack module, and a Dreadbox Hypnosis DIY kit. I find spring reverbs fascinating for some reason. Maybe it's the fact that it's a mechanical system and you can look at it and see what's going on. You can see the springs, you can touch them, you can hit them, you can dampen them. It's not just an algorithm in the digital system that you can't really look at. So I'm curious to see how big the spring tank actually is in this unit. Is it really the entire length of the case? Let's open it up and find out. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. If I can lift the front panel up and we can have a look inside. And there's a ribbon cable connected, which is pretty short. There goes the sliding nuts. And here we have the ribbon cable, which is firmly connected. Okay, so I managed to get the unit out of the case, and we can flip it over and take a look at what's inside. And this is what it looks like. We got this spring tank right here, and to my surprise, it's much smaller than I thought. I actually expected it to be the entire length of the unit, but it's much smaller. And on the top right here, you can see the Eurorack power connector. In each corner of the spring tank you have these 4 smaller springs which keep the spring suspended in the air inside of the tank. But it looks like it's missing one of the springs in the right side, down here. Let's see if we can do something about that. I'm just going to put a towel on the table so the unit doesn't slide around and get scratched, and I'm going to unscrew the spring tank itself and see if we can get a look inside and see the springs in there. I must say I'm surprised to see that the spring tank is not bigger than this. It doesn't look like this tank is much bigger than the Belton spring tank that comes with the Doepfer A199 spring reverb, or the one that Dreadbox uses for the Hypnosis and the Antiphone DIY kits. It looks like it's only slightly bigger. I don't know how big the spring tank is in the original Grampian reverb, so if any of you have any info on that, please let me know. Okay, so here it is. We got 2 springs in here, as opposed to the 3 springs that I usually found in the Belton spring tanks. You can see that the spring unit is suspended by some small springs, 1 in each corner. But the spring down here has come off. It's a little difficult to see, but the spring is actually sitting underneath the plate. So I'm going to try to fish it up, and hopefully I'll be able to reattach it to the tank again. And here's a little spring. I've gotten a hold of it with a tiny Allen wrench, but the Allen wrench is actually a little too big to get through the hole in the side of the case. So I'm gonna have to try to find something smaller. Okay, so I tried getting a hold of the spring with a tiny Allen wrench, but the wrench was too thick to go through the small hole in the side of the metal case. So now I'm gonna try to make a hook with a paper clip instead. So I caught the spring there, and I'm gonna try to pull it through the hole in the side of the case and try to reattach it to where it should be. And there we go, now it's reattached to the case again. So now that the spring is reattached to the case, the plate on which the springs are mounted is suspended like it should be and doesn't come in contact with the sides of the tank. It's upside down, but it looks like it's a Spellcat. I'm not familiar with that brand. If any of you know anything about them, please let me know. Okay, I think we're ready to reattach the spring to this circuit board. And you can see that the spring tank is mounted on top of these foam strips. And this is actually something I noticed on most spring tanks, is that you can hit them, and when you do that, the string starts to vibrate and you can get a noise out of them. But on this unit, you have to tap or bang on the front panel pretty hard to get the strings to make a noise. And I think the reason for that is that these foam pads are doing a good job of absorbing the vibrations from outside of the unit. So now we just need to realign the sliding nuts to the screw holes in the case and reattach the ribbon cable and put the screws back into place. Okay, so what are my thoughts on this reverb? Let's start with the good things. First of all, I think it sounds great. It has its own flavor and it sounds different than the other spring reverbs that I have. Also, I noticed that the noise floor is really low. A lot of spring reverbs, they suffer from electromagnetic interferences, and anyone who has tried mounting a spring reverb in a small Eurorack case will know that it can be difficult to get rid of the noise and hum. Also, I think the preamp section sounds great. I haven't exported that much yet, but I think it's great for warming up or overdriving sounds. So what are the downsides? I would say that the biggest downside is the size. I like the fact that it's Eurorack compatible, but I don't think I'll be putting this in a Eurorack case. I just can't justify using 72 HP of space on a reverb. And since it doesn't offer any notable CV capabilities, I think I'm just going to use it as a standalone reverb. Okay, I hope this video was useful to you. I'll end this video with some dry and wet sound examples from the intro jam so you can hear how the reverb sounds on individual drums. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.